Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games.
From the Cryptkeeper.
Hey guys, welcome to Podtendo's Halloween special. Your co-host Mick. I'm joined every episode by my lovely and talented co-host
Tyson.
So on this spooktacular day, which might be is it a Monday? Oh, it's a Monday. That's the scariest of all days. We're gonna come at you with a fun kind of little mini episode. At one point we did a movie. But then we went too much time on our other podcasts. We don't have time for the movies. So this is what you get in between a quick, short little episode. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah. It's spooky, scary month, so we always try to keep it jam-packed. And this is a short little cartoon just to tide everybody over.
That's it. Yeah, we fell into these. We mentioned it actually on our My Neighbors podcast. Tales from the Crypt, the animated series. Tyson gave a beautiful description of his favorite episode. But a dorky guy and a handsome man on a horse. And, we get to talk about it today. Pretty exciting stuff. So we watched that, made some notes, and that's why we're here today. Good stuff. Did you have a good October? Did you have any themes? Did you watch any good horror movies of any sort?
I've been watching lots. Kind of just picking this and that. It's kind of lots to watch with Ring of Power and like some House of Dragons and all that stuff. But I did kind of all the Tales from the Cryptkeeper, the animated series, nice. Is on YouTube. So I watched a bunch of these after we were kind of talking about it. It's like, I can go back and watch some episodes of that. So
solid.
It was easily accessible, and I'm like, you know what? I got to about like maybe episode like 12 or so, and I'm like, yes, this first season is it's television.
It is. There's some that are up and down and all around, and mixed bag for sure. But I mean, if you're playing this with a little bit of Zombies at My Neighbors or something, that having like a really retro 90s experience. All right. Did I watch any movies? No, we did some more classic ones. Like Mom and Dad were down this October, so we sat outside and I made them watch Tremors, which was kind of fun. We did Ghostbusters outside, Beetlejuice, so kind of more of like the classic ones before we kind of shut it down. And then just like Aliens. I watched Aliens. It's good. It's a good movie. Not really the best Halloween movie, though. That's kind of... I found that. I was like, a good movie. Scary. But you kind of... I don't know. I want more like creature-feety something. And then obviously...
I think The Blob works really well. Because it's also like got that gore factor going for it. But, Halloween's the best time of the year. I did end up watching Hocus Pocus 2 with Mom and Dad. So that was interesting. It wasn't, as good as the first one, but they rarely are.
Nice. And I think we've been hitting, like I watched Monster Squad. Actually, I watched Monster Squad last night. What an absolutely horrendous movie. An atrocious film that exists. So, if you haven't seen Monster Squad in a while, it sucks. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's only good for the references, I think.
Yeah, like it's something. It's something else, that's for sure. So, I don't know. Anyways, so there you go. So, but today, one of the characters' name is Fat Kid. They call him Fat Kid. That's his name. They didn't give him a name. Anyways, so Tales from the Cryptkeeper, the animated series. What we bring you today on this fine Halloween day is Season 1, Episode 6, Sleeping Beauty. It was released October 23rd, 1993, written by Edith Swenson and David Finlay. The development details. So this series is based on the 1950s EC comic series. Most episodes take place in the fictional city of Gravenhurst, California. The series was canceled on December 10th, 1994, and returned to the air in the 1999. Oh, all right. So time for Podtendo's terrible plot summary. So in this terrifying retale of the classic fairy tale, a self-absorbed prince, maybe he's just a guy on a horse, I'm not sure, named Chuck Charming, and his nerdy hood upon twin brother Melvin go on a quest to wake the Sleeping Beauty, the slumbering princess, whom, unbeknownst to them, is really a bloodthirsty vampire. No.
Yep. And hilarity ensues. It's a good time. I think it's a pretty not a amazing episode, but the Tales from the Crypt was a very like adult version of anthology horror, and this was just a children's anthology horror, and I like that it did get returned because we just were so like there's
deprived.
no ideas.
That's it.
Like just bring it back. And you can definitely tell in the later seasons because the animation's much improved, but also like it's lost all its charm of that like roughness to it, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
And the horse is named what, Thunder or something like that, or like Felicity or something like that. So it's
kind of silly.
It's a goofy one.
Yeah.
But I definitely remember this one very, very well. It must have been replayed a lot or something.
I don't know. Like in my mind, once I started watching, I was like, I remember this episode. I was like, I don't know if it stands out. There was a couple that like I think are a little bit more noteworthy, but I'll let Tyson have his fun. He can pick his episode. So we'll start our review of this fun show. So what is your favorite part of this episode? So I like that Melvin is a character, and he's based on Woody Allen. He's kind of nerdy. Why? Why is Woody Allen a thing that kids need to know about?
Was he popular in the 90s? I don't know. Like, maybe.
He was in Ants? So. I don't know. Like, he was in Ants. He's kind of a funny guy. Like, people like to make fun of him. Sure.
Yeah. I guess my favorite part is just the setting. Like, I love it kind of feels like a Dungeons and Dragons adventure or something where you, like, people are going into a castle and storming it and trying to save the day. But it feels very, like, level 1. It's like the opening area. It's like, then here's this room and there's a mummy. And it almost felt like a little bit like a video game, and you're exploring it with them. So I thought that was kind of fun.
All right. For this next question, though, because I copied our reviews of how we did our Are You Afraid of the Darks, maybe? And apparently we ask our next question, and we ask, what's the moral of the episode? Before we do that, we have to turn to our friend Yakko Warner, and he has a question for us.
Anyway,
The execs at the Fox Kids Network.
oh, they did? What a great idea.
Yeah, I love the Wheel of Morality. So, Wheel of Morality, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn. Moral.
And the moral of today's story is brains over beauty. I guess we should talk about how this episode ends. So they go into the they sneak into they're bumbling. The two bumbling characters, they bumble their way into the castle, find the vampires. Prince Chuck Charming takes off. He's out of there. He doesn't want anything to do with it. Melvin, on the other hand, uses sunlight and mirrors to reflect and kill the bloodthirsty vampire and find the real Sleeping Beauty, who's kind of like a nerdy girl because she has glasses. So what do you think the moral of this episode is?
I think the moral is just like, don't be so self-absorbed and vain. Because, I mean, that's kind of like all the guy does is like handsome chick and stares at himself in the mirror. And I'm like, in a world of smartphones, it's like that is kind of true.
On the nose,
it's kind of like sometimes it's just better to be more down to earth and live in reality and appreciate the world around you and pay attention to the world around you, because there's times where like Prince Charming's about to always walk into, or Chuck Charming's about to walk into danger, and then like Melvin has to go and save him or like shut the door because there's vampires or whatever, and he's like, what's your worry? There's nothing going on. And he's like, there was literally just something about to kill you. And he's like, oh, you're overreacting.
Or he does the thing where he's staring at himself and he almost like they almost fall off the bridge into the lava, and he has to like hold them up right so he doesn't go. Yeah, you know the bits.
It's like, don't be selfish.
So in theory, if we both picked an episode, you could ask me this, but because you picked this, I can ask you, why did you pick this episode?
I picked this episode because it's funny because it's about two brothers going on an adventure. One of them does all the hard work, and the other one just kind of coasts by and expects all the results. Right. So I thought it was fairly poignant. No, it's because I swear this was the this when I think of Tales from the Crypt Keeper,
This stands
this
out.
episode,
Okay.
this stands out. This is the episode that I must seen the most.
Okay.
But I do like there's a werewolf episode that's also pretty awesome.
Cool. Yeah, there was one thing about like a dream boy. These people are stuck in this dreams, and there's like this like faceless guy. I kind of like that episode. I was like, oh, this is neat. I don't know where this is going. Kind of cool. There was a blob, a golem, everything you want. All right, so then I don't know if I would have picked it. I watched it, and I was like, it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the one about the ants. The ant episode wasn't good either. So, how about the funniest scene? So, I was kind of mean. I said, this is just a retelling of Sleeping Beauty. But it wasn't that interesting. Vampires in a castle versus an evil queen who turns into a dragon? Seems like kind of the stakes aren't as high. But the funniest scene to me, what made me stand out? At one point, there's a wolf attacking him in the woods. And he goes to grab a stick. And then the werewolf takes off. And he's like, ha! You're just a big coward. But it actually wasn't a stick. It was a snake. I hate when that happens.
I think my favorite story or my favorite part is the just the handsome chick.
Handsome
Where you're
check.
just like,
That's your funniest
just-
scene. Anytime
that's
you
the
see that,
fair-
you're like,
It's
Genius.
like kind of. It's like because it's like the most vain, ridiculous thing. It's like, oh yes, I need to announce that I'm checking how handsome I am and stare at myself in the mirror and make myself pretty. It just makes me chuckle. So whenever I was in drama class and I had to do like a vain character, you just whip out a handsome check.
all right, so I'm glad that this character's lived with you all that time. Other notable...
It's a good bit.
yeah, other notable scenes. Like apparently Chuck becomes a vampire, so at the end he can't look at himself anymore. So that's the worst thing, is he can't, no more handsome checks for him and his horse. I don't know how they became vampires. How did the horse become a vampire?
I don't think so. I like, and the one like vampire lady got destroyed, so he figured that she was fine. But it probably happened when he was in that first couple room and there was like all those like vampires crawling everywhere, and Melvin like got him out just in the nick of time. It's like he probably got bit. That's probably what happened.
All right.
So
Other funny parts. Nothing's jumping out in my mind that's like...
no,
Yeah.
this show's super short. Like that's why it's like, I don't know, if you do have some time and you might remember this show or whatever, like go back, listen, like watch a couple episodes or just hit play on the playlist because they're all there, and just like
It'll
it's
get
kind
you
of a
there.
boring episode, you can just skip through it, but they're so quick. Like it's he does the intro, like the Crypt Keeper does his intro, and then he does an outro, and it's already like a 20-minute long episode. So you're really dealing with like 16 to 17 minutes of actual content, because everybody needs to have like goofy back and forth, and there's always like long cuts. It's like they do the animation tricks. I'm like, man, there's not a lot of content in these short stories, but as an anthology thing, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it kind of works. Sweet. And then finally, trivia. Not a lot written about this series, but I was like, I'm going to prove Tyson wrong. He picked a stupid episode. On Episode Ninja, ranked this episode number 10 in terms of best episodes. So we did pick a top 10 episode, so kudos to him. It had a
Just barely.
7.75 out of 10. So there you go.
Yep. That's fair. I wonder what number 1 was.
Well,
'Cause I remember
let's pull up the list. We've got a couple minutes. Let's see what's going on. So
And I was going to say the other episode that I'm going to make a slight prediction might be on that list is the one where the kid uses the, like, it's the serum or whatever, and he becomes a werewolf. Then he tricks the bully in becoming a werewolf, and the bully gets blamed for all the chaos that he's caused the last 3 days. So
I don't see that.
that's-
Although
okay.
Nature, episode 2, the one with the ants, is number 11. So Hide and Go Shriek, is that the one? A group of bullies fear for their lives when Wendell drinks a potion that turns him into a werewolf.
Yep.
That's number 12. So 2 other episodes that we mentioned. So we're not doing very good. Top 5. The Brothers Gruff. A boy named Eddie is followed home by a troll after crossing a bridge. Is that one season 2, episode 9? No? Do anything for you? No?
Yeah, I remember that one, definitely.
Like, how about Game Over, season 2, episode 1? 2 boys pay for skipping school to play video games when the characters come to life. Oh no. Number 3 is Grounds of Horror, season 1, episode 12. Summer camp befriends an invisible being who plays pranks on the strict no-nonsense counselor. Number 2 is This Wraps It Up, season 1, episode 11. A girl becomes the object of her classmates' never-ending ridiculing because of her tallness. And then there's a mummy, apparently. And the number 1 episode is the Transylvania Express. Season 2, episode 13. 2 surfer dudes, okay, get on a train headed to Transylvania.
Okay. I remember the surfer dudes because I think they're in a couple episodes.
Okay.
And yeah, I remember because like there's definitely like Dracula's coffin or whatever, but all the good ones got
Yeah.
Vampires in it.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I do like the ant one because like the one ant helps them out and everything.
And they learn about ants, and you're like, cool, whatever, sure.
Yep. It's I mean it's children's anthology
Yes.
horror, so they can only do so much. I think that it's what it is. It's pretty neat. I'm like, it's pretty cool that a bunch of the stuff is season 1 because usually season 1 and like is pretty soft, but I guess season 1, season 2.
Writers probably came in with greater ideas for that
Yeah.
season, right? And then they kind of were like, and then you start spinning your tires, and you're like, well, I need a job, but I don't have anything. Oh, that was scary. That was the scariest thing of it all. Trick or treaters, ding dong. No, there's no way it's trick or treaters. It's like mid-October. What's going on?
Right.
Anyways, that kind of wraps up. We only had like 20 minutes. That's 16 minutes. Is that it? We done? We did.
I think that's it. I mean, how much they barely wrote like 10 minutes of this show, so
There we go. We like exceeded them by about 6 minutes. So cool. So with that, we're gonna say happy Halloween. Stay safe.
yeah, happy Halloween.
And yeah.
Yep. And make sure to give out the good candy this year because pay it forward.
There you go. Yeah, we got to make up for those. No, I feel like we never really had a lost Halloween because of COVID. So, anyways,
No.
Cool. All right. Well, happy Halloween, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed this spooktastic episode.
Bye.
Bye.